Go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers.
Tiger talk.
Go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers.
Tiger talk.
Go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers.
Tiger talk.
Go Tigers, go Tigers.
You're now listening to Tough Tiger Talk with Big Q and the guys on the Pro Media Network.
What's up, Tough Tiger Talk Nation? We in the building. I don't know if it's breaking, but we got some news on the coaching search. LSU set to hire Notre Dame's Brian Kelly as the next head football coach. Woodard, the AD, said he wanted to make a splash. Is this the right move? Is this the correct coach to lead LSU into the future? Matt Fortuna is reporting via tweet that Notre Dame, LSU's offer to Notre Dame coach Brian Kelly is a 10-year deal that would take him north of $100 million with incentives. And that is of course, some of the latest news on the contract of Brian Kelly, who is set to be the new coach. I mean, wow, man. Wow. Is this the splash, the head coaching splash that a lot of the family members in the Tiger Nation was looking for? Brian Kelly, who's very respectable, by the way, very respectable coach. And it is a winning coach, but I don't know. A lot, maybe, and I really feel this way. We tipped our hat a little too soon, but regardless or not, a lot of the coaches that LSU were looking for was off the plate. I mean, Franklin and a few other coaches that we're looking at, Lincoln Riley, they went elsewhere. Other guys signed massive extensions to stay with their teams. And of course, LSU AD Woodard pulls out Brian Kelly out of hat, shocking the Notre Dame nation, knowing that he's moving to LSU. So this is intriguing. Now, it's not the splashiest move in the world, but this is a respectable move, in my opinion. Let's get into some of the news and notes on the contract here. The particulars with the LSU picking up and adding to their docket as the new head coach. LSU hires Brian Kelly, Notre Dame coach, takes storied career to SEC after 12 seasons with the Fighting Irish. Now, this is carried by CBS Sports, as Kelly in 2021 became the winningest head coach in Notre Dame football history. So a well-respected coach takes the job of coming to Death Valley and turning LSU back to fortunate territory, or perhaps building a perennial national championship winner or at least competitor over the next 10 years, according to the length of the contract. Now, LSU's hired Notre Dame football coach Brian Kelly, according to CBS Sports and several other media outlets, to fill his vacant position. Sources tell CBS Sports' Dennis Dodd. It is believed that the Tigers shifted to courting Kelly after whiffing on stealing Oklahoma's coach Lincoln Riley, who was instead hired by USC. Now, Kelly has led the Fighting Irish since 2010, becoming the winningest coach in program history this season. And he is 113 versus 40 overall at Notre Dame, with 2 college football playoff berths and an appearance in the 2013 BCS championship game. Now, the Irish have had a chance to advance to a third playoff this season. Notre Dame has struggled in its postseason appearance. However, it's lost the 30-3 to the Clemson back in 2018 and 31-14 to Alabama in 2020. Against Alabama in 2013, ND lost 42-14 in one of its most crushing losses in BCS history. Now, a draw to LSU for Kelly is obvious. The last 3 Tiger coaches, Coach Saban, Les Miles, and Ed Ogerion, have won national championships. Now, Kelly would be able to take his recruiting to new heights and likely be compensated handsomely for it. However, Notre Dame found new life on recruiting trail since Kelly hired Marcus Freeman from Cincinnati as the coordinator. The Fighting Irish have projected a top 5 recruiting class in 2022 for the first time in a decade, and are off to an even hotter start in 2023. Now, asked last week whether he would have any interest in other jobs, Kelly gave a strong denial. Apparently, things have changed. Quote, I mean, look, I think Mike Tomlin had the best line, right? Unless that fairy godmother comes by with a $250 million check, my wife wouldn't want to take a look at it. First, I'd run I have to run it by her, said Kelly. Now, of course, he must have. Of course, it wasn't that much, but it was a hell of a cash toll. And I'll show you the tweet momentarily. LSU reached out to Kelly early in the process, with Kelly initially turning down the Tigers, according to the Athletic, which first reported LSU targeting Kelly on Monday. Now, with Riley off the board, Texas A&M coach Jimbo Fisher again denied interest in LSU. Athletic director Scott Woodard moved on to his next big name target. Woodard is known for taking swings. He's a coach that brought Peterson to Washington and Fisher to Texas A&M. LSU fired Ogerion after 5 years and a 51-20 record. He led the program to a perfect 15-0 season national championship in 2019, but went 11-11 over his final 2 seasons. Now, of course, Woodard gets his big fish. Throughout LSU's coaching search, Woodard's propensity to nab big names has been a storyline as a part of why the vacancy up until Monday was somewhat of a surprise. Patience worked, however, because Woodard managed to pull off again. But even when hearing Kelly's name connected to the search, it came as a surprise. Now, Kelly is one of the most consistent coaches in the sport. He won at Grand Valley State, Central Michigan, Cincinnati, Notre Dame, and he's absolutely going to win football games at LSU. This is one of the best jobs in college. With endless resources and access to recruiting terrain, Woodard made a calculated decision that the Tigers don't need to take chances. This is a splash hire that the people expected from Woodard. And of course, Kelly is a Massachusetts native, has never coached in the Southeast. Only 7 of his 27 recruits in the class of 2021 came from the South. Only 2 players on Notre Dame's roster are from the state of Louisiana. Being a head coach at LSU means immediately stepping in and competing for those recruits. But Kelly's a different kind of coach, to say the least. Since his post-national championship game class of 2013, Notre Dame has not fielded a top 5 recruiting class. However, it is worth noting that Notre Dame's 2022 class ranks number 4 nationally, and the 2023 class ranks number 2, according to 24/7 Sports. Now, you know, this is something that was really intriguing for them to pick up this coach. And of course, this is a surprise hiring, to be obvious, because a lot of people are taken off guard by the fact that Brian Kelly left Notre Dame to come to LSU. So it was a real surprise. But again, is this the splash hire that a lot of people wanted to hear from? You know, is this the splash hire? A lot of people not really happy about it, having this splash, having Brian Kelly. But listen, what he is a very respectable coach. He is a winning coach, regardless of that. The LSU tried to get some of the other guys there, but ultimately it didn't fall their way. But listen, Kelly is a winner. Can he recruit down here? I think he can, and we'll see how it all goes. But I know Mozzie's not happy about it. Our GM Kev's not happy about it. But what about the other Tiger Talk Nation family members? Are y'all happy about the hire? What do y'all think about it? Let me give you a little bit of the tweet here that popped up here that shows you. Here it is by Matt, saying LSU's offer to Notre Dame's coach Brian Kelly is a 10-year deal that will take him north. That's right, north of $100 million with incentives, sources tell Brody A. Miller and me. So there you go. $100 million 10-year contract seems to be the norm in college, as some of these coaches are just getting 10-year deals like it's nothing. So that's the money behind Brian Kelly coming here. Is 10 years, according to what's leaking out about his contract. A lot of this stuff will be more final in the next coming days and hours about Brian Kelly being the new coach of the team. So very intriguing. What's also interesting about Brian Kelly is that he is a coach that has a lot of career wins. Matter of fact, and I mentioned that he's a winner, and he is that. He's won 263 games so far. For a lot of panel members saying, well, what could he do? Is he a winner? Can he win? Yes, this guy is one of the winningest coaches. He is definitely that. He's one of the winningest head coaches in college. And hold on, let me pull up some of the statistics here to cover it. But he is a guy that should win some games here, and he's a respectable guy. Let's take a look at this article right here from Fanside, breaking down LSU rumors with the Notre Dame situation, shocking Notre Dame. Now, of course, you look at the record here. Kelly has 263 career wins, which are third most for active coaches. Surprise move for a coach firmly entrenched as one of the best coaching jobs in college football has to offer, but Kelly access to top facilities and private school money, yet has opted to try the SEC on for size And this is something that we would really like. Now, is he a home run hit or a home run hire for the team? 263 wins, which are third among active coaches, which letting you know that the guy is coach, is a really good coach. He's a serious coach. He knows what he's doing. It's not the splash move that I was anticipating, but then again, a lot of the big names that LSU was looking for was gone. They were gone. They were off the board. And LSU was trying to look around and get somebody that can come in and bring a winning culture here. Well, listen, Brian Kelly might not be the biggest name that's out there, but most certainly this man can coach. Now, how can he be about recruiting? I think he'll do fine down here in the region recruiting for LSU. Of course, what does this offensive system look like? We have to get familiar with that. And as time and days come, what does his offensive staff look like? Does he retain some of the head coach, assistant coaches from Coach O's staff? You know, in particular, some of the guys on the defense. I think he will keep maybe a few of those guys, or perhaps he won't. We'll know that. That to me will show a lot on who he brings in. I know he has his own picks and chooses, but this is a guy that knows how to win in college. He's a guy, like I said, third active and wins as far as the coaches are concerned in college football. And Brian Kelly, a lot of people surprised by that because he had a lot of great success at Notre Dame. And listen, to have a perennial, perpetual winner, bringing that culture and that style down here, solving the quarterback conundrum, bringing in respectable quarterbacks, recruiting, and having a good system to operate with, and then have a perennial winner year after year, competing against the likes of Alabama and what could be Georgia and the rest of these guys. That's what we're looking for. So, like I said, you guys tell me what you think about it. Put it in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel about the LSU hiring former Notre Dame head coach Brian Kelly as its new coach. Like I'm saying, reportedly the deal is a 10-year deal worth over $100 million plus incentives. So look like the LSU's made its call, and Brian Kelly will be that guy. Put it in the chat how you feel about it, fam. I know a lot of family members won't like it, but listen, I don't think it's a bad hire at all. You know, if you think about this coach, he's a winning coach, and let's see what he can do for LSU. Respected winning coach, third most in wins among active coaches right now. So that says a lot. The man know how to win. But anyway, that'll do it for this episode of Tough Tiger Talk. Let me know how you guys feel in the Tough Tiger Talk Nation. Put it in the chat how you feel about the hiring of the potential of Brian Kelly as your new head coach over the next 10 years. So with that being said, we're gonna lock out on that. Much love to y'all. We're gonna bring back Mozzie and Jim Kev for a show down the weekend. We'll talk about this more in the store. We got a lot more information we're dropping on this. So let me know how you feel about it, because I think it's actually not a bad move. All right, here we go, and we're going to holler at you guys later. Go Tigers.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us.